Hello, Lisa.
Hello, nice to be here.
I'm so glad you are here.
I am glad to be here in wonderful South Carolina.
Ah, I know. It's gorgeous.
Yes, a bit hot, but
A
that's
bit
okay.
hot. We got a breeze. I brought that in for you. I hope
Yes,
you
yes,
enjoy it.
special for me. I feel special.
Good. So you are at Mindshare.
Correct.
Tell me a little bit about what you do there.
I am what's called a client portfolio president, and I think the most interesting thing about it is we are kind of empowered to be a GM of our own business. So I like to think about it as I take care of a group of clients, and my job as a GM is to basically make sure that these clients are getting what they're needing, to kind of make sure the team is delivering on the client's full potential, removing barriers for the team, and just creating that win-win partnership that allows them to succeed and us to succeed as part of their extension of their brand.
Yeah, a partner.
A partner.
Love that. You are going to be moderating a workshop today, and it is how we make it better for ourselves and everyone coming next. So tell me a little bit about this session and how it came about.
I was a moderator last year, and so they said you talk a lot about it when you make comments at things at the room or your experiences at Mindshare in your career. Would you like to moderate it? And I said, oh my God, I'd be so honored. So it's something that I think is just built into my own ethos. So I think it'll be very easy to moderate because I'm passionate about it.
Part of your session is bringing women to the forefront and to lift them up and working together as women. What do you think the generational differences are with the newer generation and going through the business? What do you kind of see how it's evolved?
You know, I like to think that there's probably more similarities than there are differences.
Okay.
I think one of the things that I felt that actually is kind of not so great about maybe in the time frame that I grew up, because a lot of women were trying to get ahead. I think sometimes they viewed it as like a scarce resource. Like there's not enough oxygen in the room for all of us. So it felt a little bit more competitive.
Sure.
And I actually felt almost more supported by my male bosses and my male colleagues because there's a sense of competitiveness.
Yeah.
So I always wanted to kind of make sure that I wasn't that woman. Now I've had some really great women bosses and colleagues, but I wanted to make sure that that was something that was not present in any of the things that I was doing for my employees or people I mentor. I think the gals coming up now, I think we're living in a time where I think people are like really acknowledging diversity, equity, and inclusion, and also seeing people for who they are. And I like that about this next generation. They're very into authenticity. So I think that's something they bring to the table that I can learn from. And I think it's a difference, but I think it's a positive difference.
I love that you acknowledge that you can learn, and it's not just about teaching them, that it goes both ways.
I think they always see, is the person that gives the gift the person that is really receiving more. So to me, I think in any kind of an exchange, I think the person, giving gets a ton out of the relationship. So I fully believe that that's what fills my bucket when I do it.
That's beautiful. What are ways that women can support each other in business?
I think a lot of people think that it takes these big efforts, like, oh, I have to sign up to be a mentor, or, I've got to create this seminar or whatever. Somebody was talking this morning about Mel Robbins and also just brick by brick. And I say the devil's in the doing. And so to me, I just think every day you can do something very small.
Yeah.
And it's making sure that you kind of integrate it into how you manage, how you interact with your team, the gestures that you can make to people at a seminar like this, just so small.
Yeah.
And then create that connection. So I think you kind of have to live it daily. And then if you can look for opportunities that are bigger milestones because you're interested in that, by all means seek them out. And I think, again, it's this idea of just start doing.
Yeah.
It's small acts.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about it.
That's great. I love that because, like you said, sometimes it seems intimidating, like, oh, I have to mentor and it's going to take all this time.
Yeah.
But doing small acts that you incorporate into your daily life, whether, it's showing someone the ropes or giving compliments or critical, like critiques, but like showing up.
Yes, absolutely. It was funny. There's this gal that worked for me, and she said, I really want to get involved in kind of creating a mentor program at Mindshare. And she had all these kind of reasons why she wasn't. I said, okay, but Sarah, like, let's just make it really easy and break it down. Like, perfection shouldn't be the enemy of the good. And so like this idea, if we had to do this and create it in 2 hours, and we gave ourselves 2 hours and said, and we had to launch it in 2 weeks, like how would we do it? And we came up with this idea of called speed dating mentorship. And the idea was we wanted to find 25 people who wanted mentors, 25 people who wanted to be mentees, and all we were going to do is create a QR code, and you only had to answer 5 questions, and then we were going to quickly pair you. And it was kind of like, I don't know, Love Island meets something. And we're going to quickly pair you, and then it was only for 90 days. So you didn't have to get wrapped around the axle that, oh my God, I have to commit for a year, and what if I don't like this person? And then we just gave them a list of 20 topics that they should just use as a springboard. And we said, your only goal is to meet once a week, and the mentee has to drive it, and 90 days later report back. Oh my God, people loved it. It was super easy. It took off. They started to put it into other offices. And now I think like in our Chicago office, we have like 120 people on each side doing it. And it was just like kind of creative, but it was an easy lift.
Absolutely. It's starting at a minimal just to get the wheels going.
Yes. Yes.
I love that.
It was funny too. I just love to mentor people. And so when I always work for places, I kind of make personal connections. And then for my previous jobs, I have these reunions at my house because I also love to entertain and cook. And so like literally now I've got a following. Like I have people that have worked for me at 1 or 2 different places. And like people are like, oh my God, Lisa's going to have one of her reunions. So like 60 people will come. And I had one woman that moved like 2 hours away, and she drove to the reunion from Indiana to come. And her name's Andra. And right now I'm helping her find a new gig. And she's like, oh my God, this is the weirdest thing. I just interviewed at a company, and the woman that was on the interview panel, Ruby's like, oh my God, you know Lisa Collings? She's my mentor too. And they both sent me a text, like a group text with like a heart. And I was like, that's what it's about. It's very serendipitous.
Yeah, you're a connector.
Yeah.
You've obviously mentored women, and I want to know who's been the most influential woman in your life?
I'm actually going to pick a man.
Okay.
And I'm going to say a woman next, but I think this is really important. My dad was really involved in my upbringing, and I think like he was a firm believer in like you can if you think you can, and he was very generous with his time and energy to me as a young woman, and I think that made me feel very confident as a woman. And also he's a super generous person with his time, so I emulated him. So I think I took a chunk of my dad into my current life's persona, and I think that was really formative. And then I think like the most influential people are just a cacophony. I hate to say it takes a village because it seems very trite.
It does, though.
But I don't know that I can single someone out, and maybe that's a cop-out on the answer to the question. But like here, like I came back to this event, and like 40 people came up to me and said, I remember you from last year, or this happened. So I just think, again, I would love to say one woman, but probably that woman's my dad. And then I think it's just all these people that show up at the right time, at the right place. And I think it's like, have you ever heard of these things like called glimmers on the internet? And I think it's like when something positive happens, and it's kind of like a firefly. So I think it's just this firefly effect, which is why I always just try to be present and make sure that for someone, even if it's just for a moment, I could be that person for that day or that moment or that week.
I love that. If you're walking out on a stage, what's your hype song?
I'm very into sports. The catcher from the Chicago Cubs, the year that they went to the championship, I forget his name, but he came out to the song Forever Young. And I love this idea, like just forever young. And this idea that you're always in your prime, you're forever young, you can contribute, you can be, he was the oldest guy in the team. So I love this idea of forever young.
Yeah, you're going to walk out of here with that.
Yeah. So young at heart, young in spirit, young in philosophy, and knowing that you could always just learn. And there's these jokes like the guy that started KFC, we're in the South here, started KFC at 65.
Wow.
Yeah. I think Vera Wang designed her first wedding dress when she was 42.
Yeah. Well, the brownie that's in the gift bag is my mom's.
Yes.
And she, at 75 years old, decided to start Pinch of Texas, a business.
There you go.
For brownies and spices.
You're always on your journey. You're never finished.
Yeah.
Work on yourself and share it with others.
Yeah. Well, Lisa, thank you so much for joining me today. Really appreciate talking with you.
Oh, thank you for giving me the time, and hopefully somebody got a little glimmer out of this.
I know I did.